Hey, you guys, thank you for joining me on my podcast, Unfiltered Recaps. Today, our special guest is Liv Whitman, and we're going to get to know her better. So, Liv, thank you for joining us.
Thank-
What are some things that you would like the audience to maybe know about you that maybe they don't know?
well, I'm pretty simple. I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. I've got two sons. I'm 26. My oldest son is 6 years old. He's in kindergarten, and my little one just turned 7 months. I'm Kristen's sister-in-law. We have babies that were born on the same day, so they were
Oh,
born on the same day.
I didn't even know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so they're like twin cousins, so that's been pretty nice and unique
Yeah.
to be able to like experience that with her and become a first time aunt. I've never been an aunt before. I'm the only one
Yeah.
on my side that has kids between like me and my siblings. So
Yeah.
I've never been an aunt before, but now I am, and now I'm gonna have a niece as well. Haley's having a little girl, so
Yes. Oh my
uh,
God.
but yeah, before staying home, I worked in an elementary school. I worked with young fives through third grade kids, any kid that was considered bilingual. So anyone that had their first language was Spanish. In college, I actually studied communications and media and Spanish. So I helped translate and teach those kids more, English literacy skills and whatnot. So, um, but I'm taking some time off. I'm home now, which has been a really big blessing, and um, yeah, just kind of adjusting to that stay-at-home mom life.
Yeah. How is it on your mental health and everything being a stay-at-home mom? Because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I told you, we talked a little bit before. I
Mhm.
suffered with postpartum depression really bad, and I went back to work like 3 weeks postpartum because I felt like it like helped me get out of like my shell a little bit more with the postpartum. So how are you feeling being home and stuff?
Um, I would say like some days I do struggle, some days it feels like I'm living the same day over and over again.
Hmm.
But I think right now I'm in this weird place where I'm like deep in the trenches with grieving and you know, postpartum. And so
Yeah.
sometimes I just feel like if I were to go back to work and do what I was doing before I stayed home and working with kids, I just don't feel like I have the patience for that right now. My mind
Right.
is just not really there. So um I don't know. I struggle with wanting to go back to work. The type of person that likes to feel productive, and I'm very goal oriented, so I have to set like little goals for myself, like staying
Hmm.
home, feel like I'm still contributing to the world and society. I like to feel like I'm contributing to society. So some days it's hard, I don't go many places. I'm really just trying to get through this stage of postpartum, and it's just been kind of difficult, but I'm very grateful that I do get to stay home. With my oldest son, I didn't get to, so I was pregnant in college with him. I
Hmm.
actually had him during the winter break of my junior year and went back to school like 3 weeks after I had him.
Wow.
Yeah, and his dad stayed home with him that semester while I went to school full time. And then during that summer, I toured daycares and whatnot and got him into a daycare. And then my senior year, he went to daycare and I finished up school and everything. So I was like, go, 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 uh,
Yeah.
really busy. So that time in my life is hard for me to remember because I feel like I was so busy, and it was during COVID. Like I graduated in 2020,
Hmm.
but right when everything shut down, I went to virtual classes and whatnot. So it's definitely a different experience this time around. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that I have that opportunity, but sometimes I'm sure a lot of stay at home moms feel the same way that they
It can
get
be
a little,
very lonely and isolating.
yeah.
For sure. So, with that, like you said, I know that you said that you're like navigating, grieving and like postpartum and everything. Do you feel like being in the public eye and or like being on social media, like, like, does it make it more difficult for you, or has social media helped you kind of navigate through that? Because I know for me, my social media platform has helped me, kind of like a diary. It's helped me kind of like relate to more moms and feel like
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely been some of both.
Hmm.
You know, there's always the people that have something to say. There was a time where, when Kristen had shared our baby registry, it was shortly after my brother had passed. A lot of people were saying some pretty harsh things. They were just saying like, "Oh, well, it's not like her baby daddy died." Like, so that was really hard for me to see. Like, I was like, okay, this is where I really am gonna have to like take a step back,
Hmm.
and not look at these kinds of things, and but for the majority I'd say that most of it has been pretty uplifting. I feel like it's very similar to what you said. It's kind of like a diary, and this is not
Yeah.
time around dealing with losing a brother. I lost my older brother when I was 15, and I've always kind of used social media to like express myself. It's just who I am,
Hmm.
and that's hence why I studied communications and media in college. I've just always been pretty uh, tech savvy, and navigated towards
Hmm.
like that social media realm. But yeah, I've had quite a few people, comment on my posts like saying that they have dealt with things similar, similar things that I have, and people in my messages I've opened up to a couple of people and befriended them on there, and it has helped me to also, remain grateful for what I do have. I see so many like awful things on social media that happen
Yeah.
to people. And it just kind of gives me a little bit of reality check. Like, hey, I know this awful thing has happened to me and my family, but I still have these two beautiful, healthy
Right.
children.
You have a lot of beautiful things on top
Yeah.
of the
Like,
negative. Yeah.
I have a great support system. Like, there's so many people out there who struggle with things. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
alone, but at least I have this. And so it's helped me to like pull myself out of that. Like, I used to struggle with like victim mentality. Why me, poor me, why are these things happening? And just like seeing all of the tragedy in the world, it's kind of helped me
Yeah.
not feel alone. And like I said, just be grateful for the blessings I do have.
Of course. Yeah. And so, obviously you've gone through a lot of trauma and stuff with this, and you've experienced. How do you feel like it's kind of like shaped you, and how do you process the waves of grief that you're probably experiencing on your day to day?
Um, how it shaped me, like I said, I was 15 when my older brother passed away. And so, like, that really played a major part in who I am now, like, developmentally. That's a
Mhm.
very pivotal age.
Yeah.
Uh, Going through puberty, you know, just your tendencies and everything, how you deal with things,
Hmm.
it aren't, necessarily learned and acquired yet. So I feel like it has helped or, not helped me, but it is, I'm a very empathetic person and compassionate. Like, I'm the least judgmental person that you could ever meet. I'm just a very kind and open person. I like to be there for people, um, and listen to people's struggles and whatnot. And
Mhm.
I've just learned, like I said, to not judge anybody.
Yeah.
So and the with dealing with the waves of grief, it's just really hard. I think right now the hardest part for me is trying to help my parents. This is like the second time they're going through this. And
So you've lost both of your brothers?
yeah, I have three brothers, so I've lost two. So my older brother died when I was 15.
Okay.
Then my younger brother, we were 22 months apart. He just died in April last year.
God, I am so
I
sorry.
know.
That's so terrible.
And so like my dad was there. My dad was is a farmer, and my brother worked on a farm with him, and they uh drove tractors a lot. My brother was driving a tractor and got into a tractor accident.
God.
And so it's just like for somebody to two people to be ripped away from you like that.
Well, and just so abruptly like that. It's not like
Yeah,
he was sick. It's not like he
um,
was struggling with addiction or anything like that. Like he just
yeah,
was gone. Like,
yeah. It's really affected my anxiety. We've talked,
yeah,
previously. I am having a hard time, like, wanting to like just branch out. I like to stick to my bubble. I like to stick to my people.
yeah,
And I'm just having a lot of like intrusive thoughts,
mhm,
really, I think struggling with like postpartum anxiety. Those first like 2 months, I literally did not sleep. And
yeah,
my mother-in-law like bought us the outlet sock to kind of like just help
yeah,
my anxiety, because I was just convinced that I was going to wake up and my baby be gone, because that's just,
yeah,
when death strikes like that and it's so close, you just think that something like that's going to happen again. And
yeah.
um so I'm going to therapy and everything, and you know I just do my best to talk myself out of
Take
those
it
things.
day by day.
Yeah, take it day by day, and to
Yeah,
just, be the best daughter that I can be for my parents,
yeah,
be the best mom that I can be for my kids, and the best wife that I can be to my husband. And as long as I have that to focus on, I'm okay.
yeah,
You just have no choice but to
yeah.
get day by day.
And I want you to know that everything that you are experiencing is totally normal. Like with the not for the first 2 months, I did not sleep at all. And in fact, I would stay awake staring at my son in his
Yeah.
bassinet, staring at him. The owlet did not help me. In fact, it just made it all worse
That's
because then
how
I
it was
would stare.
for me at first too. I was like just
Yeah, and
staring at it.
so I would wait for the sun to come up, and as soon as I saw a hint of sun, I'd get him and I'd put him on my chest and I'd sleep with him on my chest. And once he turned about 2 or 3 months old, he was able to roll front to back, back to front, and move his head. Like he was really like good. So I felt comfortable letting him sleep in bed with me, and that was the only way that I was able to like really sleep and not like feel that anxiety
Yeah.
because he was right there with me. So with all that, becoming a mom and everything, do you feel like becoming a mom has made you more guarded or has it like do you feel like has it opened up more opportunities for you or are you just like more guarded because you're a mom and everything now?
I think like in certain aspects, maybe a little more guarded. Obviously, like very protective of my kids, and just want to protect them from the world. The world is a really scary place, and um, I know one day I won't be able to protect them from everything. One day I will ship them off to deal with the world themselves. And I feel like that's the one of the most important parts of being a parent, is to get your child ready to, for the world. In another sense, I feel like it has made me more vulnerable, because you're basically, it's your heart in physical form, it's your
Yeah. No,
child.
I know.
Just, it's just hard. So, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like most moms go through some kind of transformation, and I've definitely changed since being a mom, and I became a mom pretty young age, dealt with a little bit of shame. I was 20 when I had Sawyer and in college, and so uh that was really hard for me. I didn't really tell a lot of people that I was a mom, because I was, you know, up at U of M, it was just a completely different scene
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So, and I think in some ways it has opened up opportunity, but in other ways, women are, I wouldn't say limited, but we are the ones that make the sacrifice with our bodies and our career.
Absolutely. And your career and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, for
all of that.
sure.
So,
And it
but
like emotionally will affect you. Like it emotionally affected me. I thought that I would love to be working in a way like I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going to quit my job once I have the
right.
baby." And then I'm like every day it just got harder and harder and harder to be away. And listen, the women who are able to do it or have to do it, that's absolutely I get it. Like it's hard being home, but
Hmm.
for me now that I've been home for now like 3 years, I just can't even imagine like I just am about to sign him up for school for like 1 to 2 days a week and that's scary for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that was definitely scary for me too. But it's like I said, I've done both. So I have empathy for both sides, but
Hmm.
it's definitely, the women do sacrifice a lot. And so it's kind of like, well, it's just opening me up to a different side of the world and make new friends and whatnot and connect with people in a different way. But like I said, it also has limited me to certain things as well.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're limited to your child's schedule and everything like
Yeah.
that. There you're not on your own time anymore as
Yeah.
much as I would love to just hop on a plane and go on vacation. It just doesn't
Right.
work that way
That's
for me. No. So are you from Michigan and you've lived there your whole life? And okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm from Michigan.
How did you and Austin meet and everything?
So before we got together, I mean, he did it while we were together too, but he was really big in like MMA,
Okay.
and his coach is like actually like a friend of mine, his old coach was. And so I saw them like sharing, he had like won his first fight, and I saw like them share on Facebook like that he had won. And what really drew me to him were his tattoos. He's got a lot of tattoos.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, he's got a lot of tattoos, and I was like, dang, like he's cute. So I clicked the add button, and I had like reached out to him, and at that point he was talking to somebody, and so
Oh,
uh he accepted my friend request, but we just had small talk, and then a couple months later just started liking each other's stuff, and then we both like reached out to each other, and then about after a month of like talking, we met up and we've been together ever since. So
how many years have you guys been together now?
we've almost 2 years. So it's
Okay.
like really similar to like Kristen and Jacob. We
Yeah.
got together like a month after them. So
Oh,
I
really?
yeah.
Okay. But you guys are married, you and him, or
Yeah.
are you? Oh, okay, obviously, yeah, because your last name. But so how soon after being together did you guys get married?
So we were together for about a year. We got married. We got together in June of 23, and we got married in June of 24. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, I know. It was pretty fast, and you know what? Some people have stuff
No,
to
that
say.
listen,
No,
hey,
no, no, not you, but
yeah.
like, people have commented on my thing, whatever. I
Oh,
don't
yeah. I was
it,
with my son's father for 9 years, and we never got married,
yeah.
and we're not together. So it really doesn't matter if you're in love,
Well,
if
when
you know that.
I
When you know, you
never felt
know.
like that towards anybody before, and I we got pregnant, and I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him,
Yeah.
and after my brother died, I'm like,
Life
some
is so short.
yeah, I want to be married to you when we have this baby. Like, I just want that like solidified. I want,
Of
to
course.
proclaim our love in front of our family. And so it was a quick, decision, but I don't obviously regret it one bit. I love
Yeah.
the best husband. He's my best friend. He's an amazing dad. He's
That's amazing.
um, the sweetest guy I've ever met. So yeah, I'm really lucky.
And do you get along with the family really well and everything? Is everybody pretty close?
Oh yeah, like I'm so close to his mom. Like, people just don't really realize, like, I don't know. They've always like accepted me with like, arms wide open and everything, and
Yeah.
they've been there for me through like, losing my brother. Like, I was
Yeah.
at their house an hour before I found out,
Hmm.
and they dropped what they were doing and like rushed over here to my dad's and like spent, the next couple days with me, and
Yeah.
or like right by my side. And they I talk to his mom every day, and she checks in on me, and her and I are very alike. We're both very, sensitive, empathetic, compassionate people, and
Right.
I just, never thought that it was possible to have that kind of relationship with a mother-in-law.
I know you're very
Yeah.
lucky because it's very rare. I feel
Well,
like.
and like I Austin is such a good man. Like, when
Hmm.
you really get to know his parents, you understand why.
Yeah.
Because they're really good people, and they I've never felt like ostracized or like anything,
That's amazing.
and like Kristen and Haley too, like they, have included me in everything, and
Yeah. That
Um,
was my next question. Are you close to Kristen and Haley and you feel
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I said, Kristen and I had babies on the same day and went through that pregnancy together, and so like that definitely brought us closer. We FaceTime a lot, and Haley, I see her a lot. I was just beside myself when I found out she was pregnant. I knew that that was something, she'd wanted for a long time, and I'm just so happy for her and Rob.
That
Like,
is amazing. Yeah, that's
yeah,
so
like
amazing. And the
I
family,
was
you
just
guys are
like,
going to have one big happy family. It's going to be amazing.
yeah.
And actually funny story. I never talked about this on social media because I didn't want to use it as like a clout thing or anything like that. But I was at the Florida Aquarium because I live in Tampa, and Jackie and Haley were at the aquarium with this was right before Sutton was born. They were with G,
Oh,
and I didn't know it was them. Like I saw them and I was like, they look familiar. Maybe I went to like high school with one,
hmm,
her or whatever, like Haley. I'm like, God, they look so familiar. I'm like, who is that? And I'm like watching them. They're being so sweet to G, like giving him
yeah,
snacks and everything is the cutest thing. They go, and I'm with my son and I'm walking into the elevator. They go into the elevator and I'm just looking at them and I'm like, are you guys are you guys related to Mama C? And they were
right,
like, yeah. And I said, oh, well, nice to meet you. I was like, I'm not a creep. I was like, this is cool. I was like, I'm on TikTok too. I'm nobody,
mhm,
but like I'm like I watch you guys. And I said, and I'm just really nice to meet you. Congratulations on your wedding and
yeah.
congratulations on your new grandbaby. And they were so nice to me. It was a 5-second conversation.
Oh, that's
Then I overthought it for the rest of the day. I'm like, they probably think that I'm like a stalker or something because I'm like,
oh
oh my
no. I
God.
think they have people come up to them quite a bit. I
Yeah.
know Kristen does. Like, we've gone a couple places, and like when we went to that Michigan game, and I think Tampa, quite a few
Yeah.
people are like like while I was like having a conversation with her, like people just come up and they're just so excited to see her, but it catches me off guard. I'm like,
Yeah.
it can almost come off. It's not rude, but like it's just kind of like, oh, well, I was just to me, she's just my sister-in-law, so I'm like, oh,
Right.
like interrupted us talking, but
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
not.
God, that's so funny. So that was the next question I wanted to ask you is do you feel like there is an expectation of you on social media being Kristen Whitman's sister-in-law?
Um, I feel like I don't know. That's kind of a hard question. I don't feel like there's necessarily an expectation, but I do feel like everything I do is like reverted back to her.
Kristen and her behavior, like if you're like I would say like if I were out of respect for her, I would be careful what I do online
Exactly.
because it
Like
comes back
truly.
on her. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why like I've learned to just like keep my mouth shut
Yeah.
because it everything that I say like, you know, ends up getting twisted somehow. And like in the beginning, it was really hard for me to like, I just stopped reading like comments and stuff, but it was really
Hmm.
hard for me to hear people say some of those kinds of things. And I'm very like stick up for people I love kind of thing. And
Yeah. It's probably
uh
really hard to see those
people
comments
coming
and
at me like, oh, whoa, like, whoa, okay,
yeah.
I'm just gonna back out, delete my
Yeah.
comment, and so I've learned to just not involve myself
Yeah.
anymore. And I
Does
think
Kristen tell
that
you to kind of just let it go and like stay out of it? Or like you guys don't
she,
really talk about
well, like in the beginning, she she didn't tell me to leave it alone, but she kind of like warned me like, hey, like just so you know, like people are gonna just that's just what's gonna happen. People are, and Austin did too. He's not on social media like that, but he just knows that,
right.
he's like, babe, I'm just letting you know, like just don't, because people are gonna be rude to you. And I'm
Hmm.
a very sensitive person.
Hmm.
Um I just don't handle that kinds of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I don't have as thick of skin as she does. So
Yeah.
that's just not for me. But I took a break from TikTok like like 2 or 3 weeks before the ban. I took like a 2.5 week break just because some people, like when people found out that both the boys had COVID, they were just like accusing us of. I had gotten a couple of DMs of like accusing us of getting on the plane knowing that he had COVID, and I'm just like, just the craziest things that I'm like, "What?" And I feel the need to, like, defend myself,
Right,
post,
absolutely.
like, a story about it, and then, like, somebody slid up on me and was kind of, like, going off on me, like, "No, but you knew he had it at the game and da 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 da." I'm like, "What?" Then they just started saying, like, some awful, awful things to me, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take a break." And so I had posted about it on Snap that I was taking a break on TikTok, and Kristen did, like, she's like, "Did something happen?" And I was like, I just told her what happened, and she said, "Just don't let it get to you. If you need to take a break, that's fine." But she's used to that. I'm not. And
Hmm.
so I don't like it when people do that to me.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. It's not me. And I'm like, you're not gonna sit there and accuse me of intentionally exposing hundreds of thousands of people to COVID, something
It's
that
the most insane thing. It
yeah.
is insane. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. And that's actually what interested me in getting involved with this group and like
Yeah.
recapping it and like being interested in them. I've always like followed Kristen and Whitney and them and stuff like that. Like I've always liked their content and stuff. But what really made me get like this involved into it was the fact that I've never seen people online go this hard in with
Insane.
hatred or love, except for like for Justin Bieber. Like it's
Right.
insane the way that they are about them. And I get hate. My first three episodes had nothing to do with Kristen whatsoever, but it was three people that have well, the third episode mentioned Kristen because it was Kim, but it was nothing negative about Kristen whatsoever. But the first three were like more so like Whitney like associations and everything like that. And I it was my first three episodes. I haven't even had a
Right.
chance. I had already had you scheduled. I've had people scheduled like, and people are like, "Oh, this is becoming a Kristen hate podcast." And I'm like, no, it's not. There's
Yeah.
nothing hate on my podcast whatsoever about either side. I don't want that. Like I am mature enough and not obsessed with anybody enough to say, "Hey, I can see where everybody's done things wrong, but like
Yeah.
I want to do a podcast and get to know the people who are like surrounding these creators and stuff that like maybe like how does it affect you and like do you know how do you feel about everything that you see on your day to day and you're just her sis, you're her sister-in-law, you're just regular family living
Yeah.
a regular life and it's like and you get ostracized and get the shit online for no reason."
Yeah. It's definitely taken me a little while to just like, you know, figure out. If I just keep my mouth shut, everything's fine.
Yeah,
Then I like I have my comments like filtered because people will just come on there and like say like the craziest things. I'm just like, what?
for
Like
no
they,
reason.
yeah, people turned that video of Austin and I finding out that Haley was having a girl into like about Kristen and Jacob and you know, just reading some of the comments, I was like, what? And it was after that I like put my comments on filtered because I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I didn't even think like people were gonna like
Take
analyze my
it and
opinion
yeah.
like that. To me, it's just, you know, they're recording us and Jacob was scrolling on his phone. Like who doesn't scroll like on their phone? You don't realize we were all having like a conversation like right before that. That was like a 20-second video. We were all just talking about stuff
It's
like and
so weird.
yeah. And so um and I've learned like even if I do try to defend them, people just it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter
No,
if I know
they
them
have their mind made up. It's like
yeah.
politics.
And that's what I've
Politics and religion
yeah, there's no point in, defending them anymore because
are arguing, yeah.
yeah, people have their mind made up and it gets tiring,
Yeah.
it's tiring.
Do you ever feel like your identity is ever lost in being known as Kristen's sister-in-law?
Um, a little bit, I don't know, like that's kind of hard to I feel like sometimes it bothers me when I post a video of the baby and people automatically like are comparing the boys. I tell
Hmm.
Austin, I'm just like, I'm about to just stop posting him because people compare the boys all the time.
They do. I've
And
seen it before because I think
yeah,
your son is like a little bit bigger and stuff like that. Like I've
yeah,
seen people make weird comments about
they
stuff like
do.
that.
Just like, and I get it. It's just whatever. But
No,
like,
it's so
it's,
silly. You're a human and you should not have to. You nor Kristen nor any of them should have to like deal with the stuff that the people say. Like I just will never understand it. But
yeah.
I
And
praise you guys.
I just am, putting out like my story, and this is me, and I just want to be known for like me, like obviously I love my sister-in-law, both of them and everything, but it is sometimes it gets kind of like, okay, like that video, like I said, about Haley and us finding out. I'm like, y'all really had to turn this into about Kristen and Jacob? Like,
Hmm.
chill.
Not
Like,
everything is about them.
well,
Yeah, like
yeah, and not in a bad way or
no,
anything.
no, no,
This
but that's what I
is
mean. Like,
Haley's
not
moment.
everything has
Like,
to
this
be
was
surrounding around them.
us finding out it's the first baby girl in the family. Like,
Yeah,
this was huge, and you guys turned it into something about them, and
yeah,
let Haley have her moment. This is about
right.
her. And so, yeah, but it is what it is. She is big on the app, so it is what it is. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's really not much I can do about it, but I do post, me, and I do kind of limit what I post, but I've started to branch out a little bit more. Like, this is the most vulnerable I've ever been on social media talking to you
Yeah.
right now. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera,
Yeah.
but
You're doing a great job.
I'm still a little shy.
No, yeah, no, and I mean, I really appreciate this so much. I mean, this is just like I'm just so thankful to you because it's just so you didn't have to do this. So, you know what I mean? Like you're really helping me out. And also, I think you're a great person. Like when you told me that you like my content, I'm like, well,
Well, yeah, because I feel like you're one of the least biased. Like, and like
yeah.
I studied communications and media in college, and that's like
Mhm.
essentially a little bit broader than journalism. And to me, your page reminds me a lot of what I studied is the
Mhm.
very objective, just like you said, recapping
Right.
things,
And just like
not
factual, like exactly what's
giving your
happening.
opinion. Yeah, not giving your opinion, and like you said, going on both sides, me and then other people that are associated with whatever other side,
Yeah.
or and stuff like that. And so I appreciate that because a lot of the T pages are very clearly one side or the other.
Hmm.
And that's, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And what a lot of people don't know about me, a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't, is that I've actually been a content creator myself and I had my own platform prior to becoming like a recap or T-page thing. I did mom content. I
Hmm.
did like, karaoke stuff. Like I did all kinds of funny things. Like I have like wigs and costumes. I was always doing
Oh,
like super
really?
like,
Yeah, yeah. That's what
yeah,
me and Kim's thoughts were talking about. I
yeah.
I watched that video. So
Yeah. Yeah,
funny.
I actually was stuck living with my son's father in our lease and I did like little skits like where when he would come home from work I was singing karaoke because we were broken up like
Oh,
and I would like sing like breakup songs like he'd be in the shower and I'd like torture
yeah.
him with like breakup songs and it was really funny and that was actually my most like viral videos was during that time but I
Hmm.
didn't like posting my business
Right.
online and everything and so like that's why I don't post anybody like a lot of these creators do talk to me. A lot of these creators have told me things. A lot of people tell me things about the creators. I will directly reach out to the creators if I find something out, if it's personal, or if they tell me things. I'm not going to go on my platform. When I did go to dinner with a couple people that
Yeah.
are directly I'm not going to talk about what was talked about at dinner. That's not
Right.
why I'm doing it. I want to get to know y'all and get to know these creators because I'm talking about these people every
Right.
day. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it just opens my mind to a different perspective because it's very easy to get lost in the social media of like, oh, this person's horrible. This person's horrible. Well, I met them and they weren't that horrible. They were actually very nice to me.
Yeah.
So, like it helps open my mind to be able to see different perspectives and different personalities and kind of humanize them and humanize
Right.
you and everybody else a little bit more because people get so just like strong behind a screen that they
Yeah.
seem to forget that you guys have real emotions and hearts and everything like that
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
I totally agree. I feel like a lot of people put all of these people on like a pedestal, and they don't realize like these are real human beings like experiencing life for the first time,
right,
and they're brave enough to share their vulnerable moments with everybody.
right,
And
and their
so,
mistakes.
yeah, exactly. And so,
Hmm.
like, that's got to be really really hard. So I have a lot of respect for everybody who does feel brave enough to put their business out there, and because not it's not for everybody. And so
Hmm.
it's they and I, but like, are all really fairly young people, and
Yeah,
so I see a lot of old things like circulating, and people just need to remember like that we're all young, like people make mistakes.
Right.
And like I said, it's their first time living this life.
Yeah.
And so
No,
to give
exactly.
people some grace, and I don't hold anything against anybody, and I don't really have much of an opinion on
Yeah.
what people say about these people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 29, and I mean, like, when I grew up, like, social media was like starting, like, we had MySpace and stuff
I
like
have
that,
my
but we
space
didn't,
too.
yeah, we didn't have like we had cell phones, but it wasn't the way that it is today.
No, I don't have internet on
And
my phone or anything at first.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not like excusing anything that's like negatively has happened or been said, but what I'm saying is like if a lot of us had cell phones and stuff back in the day, I feel like the things that are like really a problem in today's society, like people would be like complaining all the time because it was, and I'm
All
again
right.
not excusing it and saying, but like MySpace was like every man for himself. Like that
Yeah.
was like crazy. Like people did
I remember
not filter what they said
top 10
whatsoever.
friends arguing
Yeah.
about. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like,
It was
you know,
terrible.
yeah. And like your frontal lobe doesn't develop until you're 25 years old.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things that I feel like, people have done or put out there, are just like impulsive things. And you just don't think about
Yeah.
what's going to follow me for the rest of
Yeah.
my life. But
Exactly.
I think that's one thing that I have learned and that I, will instill in my children's mind, be careful what you put out there because that will follow you forever. And
Absolutely.
um, the internet is forever. It's
No,
hard.
it's so true. And I mean, that's like a huge thing, like, with like OnlyFans being so popular now, I do not judge anybody. But the one thing growing up in the time frame that I grew up in, like, you were not like my parents always taught me, do not send a picture, do not
Mhm.
like do that because it will follow you for the rest of your life.
Right.
So to see like OnlyFans and stuff becoming so popular and it's like glorified and like everybody's just like so comfortable with their bodies online. I've even promoted bras on my TikTok where I have to show myself in a bra on my TikTok.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my God, like if this happened like when I was like 15, 16, like that time frame, it would have been so like shame, shame, shame. But like now it's just like everybody's like free to do whatever they want. And like it's just crazy because like there's so many things that can follow you around and everything. But like now it's just like kind of like more accepted that it's just not that big
Yeah.
of a deal with things like that.
Yeah, I know, and I always keep in the back of my mind like, will my kids see this someday? But I
Hmm.
also wonder like, will TikTok be around? And my kids are very young. Will TikTok even be around then? Will
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know what I mean? I'm just like, I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Where will the videos go? Because all of MySpace stuff
right,
is gone. I don't see nothing from like
right,
anything from MySpace
exactly. Like,
anymore. Like that's all
I
right, wiped clean.
I know, and I've had my Facebook for like 15 years,
Me
but
too.
my Facebook I think is for the most part like private, but TikTok's
Hmm.
just a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think one thing that has changed about the app throughout the years that I've been on it is like the a lot of it now is just like screen recordings of like drama and everything. And
Hmm.
so uh I don't know. I wonder if that it will still be like a super popular app in a couple more years. I don't know.
I mean, I love TikTok, but I feel like it just like every year it gets like more and more negative. Like there's
Yeah.
just a lot of things like that I'm constantly seeing drama and constantly seeing, and I don't know if it's because of the side of TikTok that I'm on. Maybe if I was on
I'm
like
right,
a
same.
different side of TikTok, but I like this side of TikTok. I like the creators. I like getting to know them and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's just like the people or like what it is, but it is pretty crazy. I mean, like with that, like, would you ever want your children to see this side of TikTok or ever be involved in it?
Um so I think, like I said, some of the things that I post, I I feel like I would want my kids to see that, some of like the precious memories between us and everything, but like
Hmm.
in regard to like the drama and the the stuff that they say about family, no, I would never want them to see that stuff. But I also know like I can't protect them from everything, so it
Yeah.
might be inevitable one day, but I hope, by then, which I'm gonna not let my older son, be on TikTok. Like, I don't know, 10 years, I'm hoping, like,
Yeah.
by the time he's 15, 16. I mean, I'm sure he'll have a phone and stuff, but, like, um, I don't
That's
know.
a hard question to ask when your
Yeah.
kids are so young, because I feel the same way. I always say, like, I do not want my son on social media, but then it's like, what happens when he gets to 13, 14, you know?
Well, right.
Right, it's
I
hard, you know? We'll
uh,
see.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited about being a bridesmaid?
Yeah, I've actually never been in a wedding before,
Me
so
neither.
it's, like, my first time, and yeah, I'm really excited. So it's new experience for me.
Yeah,
I'm excited to stand up there with her on her day and honored that she asked me to be a part of that day with her. And
yeah, so
I've
special.
yeah, and I've been able to meet like who her friends are, and they're really great people.
Mhm.
And so it's been good. So I'm excited,
So
and
nice.
yeah.
That's exciting. That's so
Yeah.
exciting. I'm
I
excited
know
for you guys. I
I've
can't
never
wait.
been to a wedding. I'm like, I've never had anybody else do my makeup or anything. I'm like, this is gonna be weird. Like,
Yeah, I can't wait to recap it. It's gonna be
yeah,
a great wedding. It's like I made a joke. Oh my god, I pissed so many people off. I was like, it's like the royal wedding. I'm gonna recap it, and everybody's like, yeah, right. I'm like, oh my god, just laugh. Like I'm
yeah.
just being funny. Like, oh my god, it's just so ridiculous.
It's
But yeah,
gonna
I mean,
be beautiful. I mean, Kristen is very particular and articulate with things, and she
yeah,
knows exactly what she wants. And I think that's one thing I do admire about her because, like, she she knows what she wants for her wedding.
right.
Like I said, just when I got married, I wouldn't even know what like where to start or how to plan, but she knows what she wants, and
Yeah,
she's got it down.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Is there anything that you would want the audience to know any like before, we go, or like is there anything that you would want to share with anybody?
um, I don't know. I think I like we've said, I'm my own person, and you know, just if you can try to just separate me a little bit, like give me my own identity, but also understand that with her having that popularity, there comes that automatic association. But
Yeah.
be kind. You never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's one of the things I value most is just being kind to people. And yeah, just be
Yeah,
nice. It's not that hard to
for
be nice
sure. Yeah.
to people.
You
So
guys leave her alone. Like you're so sweet.
oh,
Literally, leave her alone or I'm gonna fight all of you. Jesus. Oh
that's
my
funny.
God. I can't imagine anybody even being mean to you. Like it's so crazy. You're literally the nicest person ever.
I think people just find somewhere to project and take things
Hmm.
out on, and like I said, they know me as her sister-in-law, and that's it. So
Hmm.
they've actually come at me and said like some of the craziest things, and what they don't know is like I do have some different beliefs than my family
Yeah, and
and
that's
whatnot.
totally okay.
Yeah, and I'm just not vocal about that, but you coming to my page and assuming things about me, it's just, but then I have to be careful what I do respond because somebody might, like out of respect for Kristen,
It's
I'm not.
going straight to Reddit.
Yeah, yeah, like I actually like to comment on like Mama Llama's page, like a shady comment about Kristen, and like the person who made that comment sent it to a T page, and they made a whole post about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, like you guys have never accidentally liked a comment before. I immediately unliked it.
Sometimes I even accidentally did, there's like a thumbs down option.
Yeah,
Sometimes I accidentally click that and I'll see that I did that. I'm like, oh shit, like, oops.
I know. And so, like, for the most part, I get along with all of the T pages. Like, Shit Show, I love her. And
Hmm.
Mom Llama's always nice. And even Simmer, like, I get along with her. But I was, like, super taken aback by that. I was like, dang, I really cannot do anything. I'm
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
have a backup account that's private. And I just scroll on there sometimes
Yeah.
because I could just do whatever I want on
Yeah,
there.
you're like free. Your
Yeah, I'm
name,
like,
your name's like Abby over there or something. Like just like some random
right.
girl from like Virginia.
Yeah. And I was like, why would you're gonna make a whole post about me shading Kristen? Like, what? That's like my real life family. Don't do that to
Yeah,
me.
don't do that shit. Oh, I'm so
That is
sorry.
crazy.
That's so horrible.
So they took it down and everything. And I was like, next time if you could just, message me about that.
Right, and ask me, like, yeah, that's
Well, and
crazy.
you know what? It was just so bizarre, but I was like, "What in the world like is happening? I'm not used to this. I don't like this." That's why I have my like backup account because I just
Yeah, that's
scroll
smart.
on there and I'm on a little bit different side of TikTok on there. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's so smart. Did you tell your family that you were doing this interview with me, or
yeah, I actually asked Austin before doing it. So
yeah.
I was like, "Do you think that I should?" I told her and she said no drama or anything and he's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, why not?" Like,
Okay.
I showed him your
Yeah.
page and I would if he would have said no, you just probably shouldn't, I would have been like, "Okay," but he's like, "Why not?" Just and
Yeah.
he encourages me to kind of like get out there. Like I said, I've
Yeah.
always been like a social media person. Um I've just always I was big on like Snapchat and stuff before I got with Austin. I've always been kind of
Mhm.
used it as like a way to express myself. And so he's like, get out there, do this, but then comes that backlash I don't want. So I'm always a little bit like, and I'm sure people will have stuff to say, but I was like, you know what, if it's no drama and it's kind of there are some things that I do want to get out there, like as we talked about postpartum anxiety and like grief and stuff. And I think those things are so important that I'm not willing to stay silent over those. I
No,
really
absolutely,
think,
and you can definitely get that message out there to people
yeah,
who need to hear it for
yeah.
sure.
So if I have people looking at my page, that's one thing I want them to see is that I'm an open ear and I'm a person and I struggle too. And so I did tell Austin I was doing this. I didn't tell Christian or any of them, but they she won't care. I mean, it's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
I just went live with her the other night and she was just like, everyone's like, that was so awkward. Me and her were just like, hi,
Yeah.
hi. It
I
was
feel
so
like I wouldn't
awkward.
know what to do with people on live. Like I would
Yeah.
be so like, hi, like
Yeah, I don't want to hurt. I'm not in this to hurt anybody. Like I've had my fair share of drama and my own hurt and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like I'm not that kind of person. Like it is what it is. I don't know any of you people like to hate any of you. You've never, none of y'all have done anything to me like to
right.
hurt me in my life and everything like that. So it's like at the end of the day, like I don't take anything personally because it doesn't personally affect me.
Hmm.
But ultimately, like I love watching everybody, and if I'm pretty sure I'm following you on TikTok, but if not, I will make sure that I am because I'm excited to see what you do with your platform because you are going to make yourself, flourish
Yeah,
in your own way without anything else. So,
yeah. I actually did just like take like Whitman out of my name because
mhm.
so many people like I don't know. Now my name's just like Liv on there. So
Yeah,
I did do that. I think I'm following you too, so I'll send you a message on there, but
okay,
yeah.
yeah. It's the make sure it's the one I have almost 200,000 followers. I'm very happy about that. But
Yeah,
I
that's
have a lot but I have a lot of fake accounts and it's not like it's like scammers. Like they're like, "Oh, I'll read your palm." Like I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to read your palm. So don't if you get any messages, make sure it's the one with 200,000 like 190 something thousand followers because
yeah,
I don't want weirdos trying to message you or anything like that.
right.
But
Crazy. I've
what
actually
yeah.
never had anybody make a fake account about me, which
It's all luckily it's all just like scammers, no big deal. Like I
right.
don't know, I have like 100 of them. Some of them get taken down, some of them don't. But they just all copy and paste all my videos and pretend like they're me. Like, and I apparently have psychic powers. So if you need your future like read to you, let one of my scammers know. They'll
Oh my
they'll do
goodness.
it for you for a hefty penny,
Right.
um, and maybe your social security number.
Oh right. That's hilarious.
But yeah, but anyway, is there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I just, appreciate being so kind and this was fun. So
Yeah. And if you ever need anything, I am literally just a snap away. You can
mhm.
message me anytime. Like I'm literally just on my couch and chilling with my kids. So I'm always home if you ever
Thank
need a listening
you.
ear. Nothing, I'm like I said, I'm
No,
always here. So
I
I
appreciate
just really appreciate you doing this for me and you've you know, you got my support. So
yeah,
I
thanks for
appreciate it.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. And anyways, thank you guys for watching my podcast with Olivia, just Liv Whitman. And remember, I'm not a tea page. I'm just a mom spilling the tea for other moms and nosy bitches like you and me. And my kid is whining, so I'm gonna have to get off of here. But thank you and have a wonderful night.